Hey everyone, Ryan Young, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu. I hope you're doing well. So, every once in a while we get visitors that will come and visit us at one of our campuses to train, right? People who watch the YouTube videos like you do, people who follow Dave Kama, people who are our members in our online community at KAATAROJujitsuOnline.com. And one of the things that they kind of wonder about is how do they implement the methodology from KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu while they're training at a school that may have no relation to what we do, right? It's not going to be easy, I'll tell you that right off. It's going to be, how do you learn in a linear fashion when the school you're at teaches in a non-linear fashion? Well, you have to kind of look at it this way. Why am I at that school? Let's say you can't find a school that does jiu-jitsu the way you want. I mean, there's just none. You've gone and looked through all of them. In fact, that's kind of how our Austin campus got started. One of our members took a private from me before, KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu was in Austin. He came up to Flower Mound, took a private from me. And I guess the approach really resonated with him. And he was at a particular school and said, man, they don't teach like this at my school. I'm like, well, I'm kind of sorry. You could always move up to Flower Mound, right? But he says, well, I really want to learn this jiu-jitsu. And he went on to Gracie University and had, was a member over there. And then would always kind of touch back maybe every 6 months. Hey, Ryan, how you doing? I'm good. And he'd go, when are you opening the Austin campus? I go, good question. I have zero plans to open a school in Austin. This is 5 years ago, right? And he said, well, you have to, because I left the school that I was at when I met you, and I'm at another school, and they're not doing it as well. They're doing it just like the way the first place did. And then, call me another time and say, hey, I just, I dropped in at a couple of other schools in the area, and they all do it the same way. So it's 4 or 5 schools all do jiu-jitsu the same way, meaning sport curriculum, no emphasis on self-defense, and completely random in the way they teach things. Just today is armbar, tomorrow is choke, the other day is hook sweep, the other day is de la hiva, another day is half guard. It's just kind of random. Whatever they think they want to teach, that's what they're going to teach. So he says, you need to open one in Austin. So now that we have the online curriculum, and now there's students with us, and he just earned his blue belt, after training, 5-6 years now. I mean, he just earned it. I think I awarded it to him just maybe 6 months ago now. Oh, no, he was about a year ago now. He came up to Flower Mound and tested and got it done that way. So what can you do if you're an online member and you train at a school that doesn't really do it the way you do it? So let me kind of give you a brief overview on how you do it. In this case, you're going to need to take more control of your own training. You can't rely on the black belt or the instructors at the school that you're at. What I would recommend is, let's say you are online and you are going through the modules, you're trying to go through one by one and doing it right. If you skip around, if you get one of those urges, those bugs up your ass to go and look at all the videos, you're going to get confused just because you're going to be overloaded. There are, from what I understand, about 200 different techniques that we run through on in the first 6 modules, which are white to blue modules 1 through 6. It's a lot of stuff to learn, and you can't really learn. You can't jump ahead to module 6 and expect to be proficient, because module 6, that's top mount class, as we call it, top. You got mount class bottom, which means you're underneath, and we got mount class top, which means you're on top. And so it covers mount, side mount, which is technical mount to some of you, seat belt, and worst position. And it teaches you how to how to hold the position, how to choke, how to do a joint lock, and then how to climb to a better position or transition. But if you don't know how to get out, meaning you haven't gone through module 1, which teaches you how to get out from under that guy on top, then being on top is useless to you, because you won't be able to hold the position. In fact, you'll fear losing the position. So we order it in a certain way. That's why I was telling you in that video, 2 videos I did, how to get better, faster in jiu-jitsu. It tells you kind of what we do in the KAATARO Jiu-Jitsu methodology. Now, to help you, what you need to do is, let's say you go through module 1, you watch the videos, and you do your best. And then you do your best to learn it, to digest it, because it is in video format, right? So for those of you who learn by touch, meaning you're kinesthetic learners, a video is going to be challenging for you, right? So there are really three modes of learning. That's the way I see it. You can learn with your eyes, meaning I see what you're doing. You can learn with your ears, meaning tell me what to do. And you can learn with your body, how you train. The instructor says, okay, now do it like me. All right, and you do it back, right? So those are your three modes of learning. Now, learning through video, the reason why it took so long for us to do videos, technical videos, was because you cannot do the kinesthetic learning and teaching online on a video. But you can do the other two. So you can watch it, you can see it, and you can turn the volume up and you can hear it. So we cover 2 of 3 bases. Now, it's not as good as me being there to teach you or Dave being there to teach you, but it's as close as we can get given what we have. So you're going to have to figure out a way to make do if this is something you want to do. So you have a couple of options. Number one is just watch it, process it in your brain, listen to it, and envision what's going on, and visualize, and watch with your eyes, and close your eyes and imagine it. And then when you go into class, get yourself put into that position, right? So a lot of schools, they just spend a lot of time rolling, right? Out of a 60-minute class, 40 minutes will be rolling. That's the time that you're going to use to let people mount you. And you're going to think to yourself, okay, now when I'm under mount, where do my hands go? How does my body go? And you're going to consciously think about it, and you're going to try to make your move. It might work, it might not work. If it doesn't work, then go, okay, something is wrong here. Let me try to remember what happens when somebody takes my back. So you could even just kind of take it, give them your back, let them take it, and then try to work out of the seatbelt. And then maybe you know that one, right? Maybe you're able to figure that one, but mount is still kind of perplexing. So you go back home or you go back to your phone and you watch the video on how to get out of mount escapes, and you go, oh shoot, I was missing that one part. So when you go back to class, you do your rolling, let people mount you, and remember to add that one part back in. If you keep doing that and just being disciplined, meaning just stay with module 1, you will get good at your escapes. Now, there are going to be instances where your opponent will do something a little bit different, and that's where you can ask the community on our website and our app. You can ask the community, hey, this is kind of what's going on, and somebody will be able to answer your question. But once you get proficient at that, then you're going to go up to module 2, which has to do with the cross-side class escapes. So that would be cross-side 1, cross-side 2, cross-side 3, knee and belly, KAATARO, modified KAATARO, north-south. So any one of those positions are what we call cross-side class, meaning but this time module 2, you're underneath, so you're playing defense. And module 3 is passing guard. So for us, passing guard is a defensive position. So what you're going to do is you're going to ace the 3 modules. And if you can ace the 3 modules, you just keep letting people have that on you, right? If you're doing cross-side class escapes module 2, then if you're playing guard, you're going to let them pass your guard, get the cross-side on you, and then start working your escapes. If they go to mount, then fine. Then you're already working on module 1, so you're just going to get better at module 1. That's the way you need to do it. I mean, that is the secret to a system like we use in Kama Jiu-Jitsu. It's starting with the defense first, because defense will give you confidence in offense. You can have great offense, but if you're afraid, if you're mounted on somebody, you're lucky enough to get mounted on somebody, and he is able to get out of your submission attempt and to put you on your back, how confident will you be if you don't have any defense, right? I remember having one guy come in. It was a Sunday, just like a little open mat session I had with my students. And one of my students brought in a friend of his from work who did jiu-jitsu in another place, and he was a 4-stripe blue. Very tall guy, probably about 6'3", 6'4", kind of lanky, probably about 185 pounds, very flexible. He had a great guard game. That's all he played, guard. He could play, spider guard, deli hiva. He could do an open guard, hook sweep, all that type of game. That was his game. Well, one of my, I guess, purple belts at the time, blue belt or purple belt, I'm not sure, passed his guard and then got the cross side, and then this guy just recomposed and went back to guard, which he is very good at getting back to guard. Well, this purple belt in our studio just basically locked him down in cross-side, did the cross-side top system that we do, and got to mount. And then when he got to mount, he submitted him. And then they went and started up again. And I told my guy, hey, after, him going to mount and submitting the guy, I told him, all right, enough of that. Don't, you already got it. Stop doing that to this guy. Do something else. So what he did was he let this guy who played guard, let him pass his guard. So the guard player, who not from our school, ended up getting mounted on my student. He was mounted. I'm thinking, good, let's see him choke my student out from mount, right? I really was rooting for him. I'm not against him. I want to help him too. What he ended up doing was from mount, and don't tell me that you've never done this before, right? I know you have, some of you. From mount, you're thinking, I'm going to lose this position. I'm not confident holding the mount, so my opponent is going to put me back in guard, and I'm going to pass guard all over again. So instead, what I'll do is, from mount, I'll roll over on my back, and I'll play guard, which is what he did. Well, the problem was this purple belt had already passed his guard, had already shown he can pass his guard, and it wasn't hard for him to do it. Once he figured it out, it was pretty methodical and regular after that. So I told the visitor, I said, dude, what are you doing? Why are you giving up the mount position and going to guard? He says, well, I'm more confident playing guard. And I said, I get it, but your guard is getting passed by this student. He goes, well, I figure I'm more confident playing guard and rolling the dice on trying to submit him from guard than I am trying to submit him from mount because my mount sucks. But the thing is, he didn't realize the ladder, right? The ladder of positions, the hierarchy of positions. A mount is a superior position to guard, playing guard. And I guess he was never told that by his instructor. The instructor probably told him, hey, you're pretty good at guard, you're flexible, long legs, you should just play guard. That's your game now. Without really teaching him, the basics or the fundamentals of holding a mount. Because if you do this for self-defense like we do, you want to get to the top position, right? The whole position over submission, that's relevant in a fight. I mean, you want to have the position. If you can get to mount, then if you can just hold it, and you're just, it's not a fight, it's just a session, just a training session. If this were a fight, you could always strike them. But if you're just kind of grappling, you get used to rolling on your back, of all things. You're putting your back now. Your opponent, who had his back to the ground under your mount, is now able to get up on his feet and start raining down punches on you. Now, in a regular grappling match, okay, that's not going to happen. But in a fight, if you have that as a tendency to get to mount and then roll over on your back, if you're having a little difficulty, then it's not a really good thing to do. So if you're at a place where your instructor doesn't really teach in a methodical manner, he doesn't teach off a curriculum, I guess somebody asked, hey, should I just kind of tell my instructor? Should I make a suggestion to him? That's a fine line. I can't make a recommendation on that because it can go one of two ways. One is your instructor is receptive to it and go, hey, yeah, here I am. I'm a black belt and you're a white belt and you're telling me that I should do things different. You're right. Let's do it different. More likely, he's going to not say it because you're a paying member to his school, but he's going to be thinking to himself, shut up. You don't know what you're doing. You're an effing white belt, right? Which is sad because, even with us, the thinking is you can always improve, right? If there's no room for improvement, then what's the use of doing it, right? Move on to something else. Pick something else that you can learn and get better at rather than just do the same thing over and over, right? And, we pride ourselves on always trying to refine our techniques, especially somebody like Master Dave is always looking to seek to do what Grandmaster Hickson has always said he seeks to do, which is try to make your jiu-jitsu able to be implemented by an 8-year-old girl, right? That's the goal. And if you're always trying to get closer to that goal, you will improve. Now, jiu-jitsu is not there. Even Hickson's jiu-jitsu is not there for everything, but the fact that he keeps trying to get there, he keeps striving for it, gives him a goal to always work toward, so he can improve his jiu-jitsu, right? And if you live with that thought in mind, you cannot help but make your jiu-jitsu better over time. The other approach is to think to yourself, okay, I've got it down, I can do it. Let me go and find a new concept to work into my jiu-jitsu. And that's where you look at other things that other people have done and then try to bring it in. Well, the problem is when you do that, you're going wide instead of going deep, right? You want to get a deeper knowledge, not necessarily a wider knowledge. I also heard that an expression, and this, all that we're talking about, has nothing to do with money, but the expression was, there are riches in niches. And when you think about it, it's really true in life. Think of any professional occupation. If you are a general engineer, right, you can do some mechanical, some electrical, some aerospace, some computer even, right? And you decide you want to get a job. What if a company's looking for an electrical engineer? You're going to say, well, I can do that. And the company's going to go, well, yeah, you can do it, but you can just do it at a minimally competent level. I want somebody who's a rock star electrical engineer. Well, unfortunately, that ain't you. So then you're going to go to another company and you're going to say, and they're going to be looking for a mechanical engineer. Yep, I can do that. Well, how much time have you spent working as a mechanical engineer? Well, out of the last 10 years, since college, me being an engineer, I worked as a mechanical engineer for the first 2. Okay, so the last 8, you haven't been a mechanical engineer. Oh yeah, but I can do the work. Well, no, I'm looking for somebody who's been doing mechanical engineering for 10 years and who has that expertise, which you don't, right? So what's happening is you're now the jack of all trades and you're really a master of none. So you end up not getting a job because neither place will hire you because they want somebody who's good. On the other hand, if you look at, a software engineer, like what they have at a company like Netflix, right? They'll hire, they'll create a casting call, so to speak, right? And they might have 100 software engineers there that are trying for the job. And it turns out they might have 10 jobs. So maybe they're thinking, well, we'll hire 10 people. Well, what they do is they actually find out that 2 of the 100 are spectacular engineers. I mean, they are rock stars. They can do the work, when they run the battery of tests on them, they can do the work of 10 engineers. I mean, they're that good. Guess what? Netflix will hire 2 of them and pay them the money they're worth and pay them rock star money, right? Pay them what they would have paid 10 engineers, but you have 2 people that can do it, they're going to pay them like that. The remaining 98 of them are going to be jobless, or they're going to have to look for another place to work. So the fact that these 2 are specialists in the computer writing code methodology that Netflix wants and needs, they're going to pay up for it. Same thing goes for an attorney, right? The big money attorneys, they work on only one type of case, right? They're the go-to, they're the expert. People go to them. You look at doctors, same thing. You look at a specialist. I had my orthopedics, my knees done by a doctor out in Southern California when I was living there, and he only did knee surgeries and shoulder surgery, and that is it. And he did tens of thousands of them, and he'd do like 30 procedures a day, and he'd do that twice a week. But people would go to him. If you had a problem with your knee, you'd go to him. Had a problem with your shoulder, you go to him. You got a problem with your hip, don't go to him. Problem with your wrist, don't go to him. He wouldn't even bother entertaining talking to you. He'd say, you know what, you got to talk to this guy instead. He goes, but if you have a bum knee or a bum shoulder, I'm your guy, right? So that's kind of how it went. But he made spectacular money. I kind of looked at my bill for one of my knee surgeries, and I kind of extrapolated out what the insurance company paid and all that kind of thing. Okay, what did he get? At that time, and this is about 10 years ago, actually about 13 years ago now, dude is making probably $4.5–5 million a year, right? Whereas you're, you got a general doctor, the doctor that we go to when we have a cold, right? Or the doctor we go to for a checkup. The general practitioner internist, what do they make? Maybe between $100,000 and $200,000, right? It's good money, but it's not rock star money, right? So with your jiu-jitsu, concentrate and pick a style that you want to do. You want to do the self-defense style, concentrate on self-defense style, right? If you want to be good on the sports side, concentrate on the sports side. Right? I don't have any bias. Well, I do have a bias. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me which you do, which you choose. Just choose one. I mean, they're both great. I mean, you'll get a lot of fulfillment in life by doing both of them. But realize you cannot really do both. Right? You need to choose one. It depends. I guess if you want to be good at it, do you want to be that engineer who can do 5 different disciplines of engineering, or do you want to be that rock star that is good at one? Right? It's like you have guys that do only gi, guys that do only no gi. We do both, but we concentrate on the gi. 9 months out of the year, we're in the gi. 3 months out of the year, we're not in the gi. But that's just how the Gracies typically did it, which is why that's the way we do it. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. We're just trying to be the best we can with what our Grandmaster teaches. So use the curriculum like we have. It's a specialist criteria, a specialist curriculum, not criteria. It's a specialist curriculum which we offer. It's the self-defense traditional style jiu-jitsu. But you can learn the sports stuff. But I always tell my students this: do not try to branch out until you're deep in the purple belt, because once you get deep in the purple belt, your fundamentals will be sound. Right? If you go through our curriculum and you do what we do and how we do it for the duration until you get to maybe 3-4 stripe purple belt, your foundation is good. Now you can always refine it as a brown belt and a black belt, but you are going to do what we need you to do when you're under stress. Whereas if you played around with a lot of stuff throughout the years, white belt, blue belt, into your purple belt, you're not going to have necessarily the fallback that we would like you to have. Because with us, I don't care if you win a competition. It's great if you do. We do them every once in a while, and I don't want my students to lose. I want them to win. But at the end of the day, I'd rather them come back to me and go, I got attacked on the street, and I came out okay, right? Versus, them winning gold in Masters in Vegas or wherever they have it now, winning gold for my age, weight, belt, whatever the criteria is, get gold there, and then get into a street confrontation after the tournament, walk into your car and get your ass kicked. I mean, what good is your gold medal if you can't, use your jiu-jitsu to help you defend yourself in an attack against somebody who doesn't do jiu-jitsu, right? Who doesn't spend the time training to better yourself in a self-defense manner, right? You should be able to come out on top with somebody who doesn't know what to do, unless they hit you in the back of the head with a pipe and you don't see it coming. There's certain stuff that you just can't account for. But assuming you do have at least a fighting chance, you should be able to come out on top. That's why we do this, right? So I know it's hard to learn a system such as ours when you're remote, but that doesn't mean it cannot be done. If you really want it, you're gonna have to do it, right? There's no other alternative. Right? There's no I can't do it, right? So I always tell you, I don't like the word can't, and I tell you how in the kids' classes, if they say the word can't, I make them do push-ups. I want to throw that word out of the vernacular, right? Out of their vocabulary. I don't want anybody to say it. I don't want you to say it, because whether you can or you cannot, whether you say you can or say you cannot, you're absolutely right. Right? If you say you can do it. If you say you cannot, you can't do it. So simple. Just don't say it. Right? If you think about it, if there's anything that you want that's you want it badly enough, you'll get it. Right? The minute you say you can't get it, you're done. Stop even thinking about it, because you're not going to get it at that point. I hope this is kind of helpful to you if you're looking to get better through our online platform or any other online platform that you may follow. It's just not only us. There are other good quality ones as well that you can learn from. But you also don't train at a place that is conducive to learning it, right? Just find those moments in your class where you can practice what you're working on and be diligent about it. And you may need to do the old in one ear and out the other, if you're getting taught something at your current school, right? He may be teaching how to do, how to set up arm bars a certain way. But if you want to do it the way of the curriculum that you're paying for online, then you just have to say, okay, I'm not going to remember this. I'm going to wait until that curriculum takes me to the way they do the online the arm bars, and just do it that way. And what'll happen is eventually you'll get to doing everything the way the course wants you to do it. So you'll end up having a different style of jiu-jitsu than everybody at your academy. But people who go and drop in all over the places, and maybe they travel a lot, they take class here, take class there, go to seminar here, go to seminar there. If you do jiu-jitsu that way, you're going to have a style that's like that engineer who has 5 different disciplines that he can do, but he doesn't do one really, really, really well. And that's okay too. It just comes down to you needing to think about what you want to learn, how you want to learn it, and you taking charge of it and doing it. That was a lot. I hope it kind of helped to give you some direction, or maybe you don't need direction, but at least give you an idea of how to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish if you want to learn a system of jiu-jitsu like Kama Jiu-Jitsu. Anyway, I hope all is well. Come visit us at one of our campuses in Austin, Texas, Irvine, California, or Flower Mound, Texas, which is Dallas. And also come visit us online at kamajujitsuonline.com. If you haven't already, please like the video. It sure helps us to get our videos out in front of more people. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and comment if you like. And you can also share the video. It really helps us out if you share the video. So anyway, that's all I got for you. Take care. Happy training. Bye now.